Hi, everyone. Professor Philip Travis here, and this is week 5 here at EOU History 112, World History Part 2, 1500 to the present. This week, we have a few things going on this week, so I have some of your papers graded. I will get all of them graded very soon, certainly well before the end of the week. This week you have your first paper option due. So in this class, students have to write one paper, and it's designed to be an argumentative research paper. And the paper is about roughly 700 words in length. I have a prompt in there with all the guidelines for writing these papers and doing well in them. And so you have two options during the term to write this paper. You can write this paper during week 5, or you can write a second paper with the second list of prompt question options at the end of the term. It's due week 10 before finals week. I think it's week 10, but it's due the week before finals week. Um, so this week you have the option to write this first paper. It's a 700-word paper. Again, I have a prompt in there with 3 broad topic areas that you can write on. I want you, please read the prompt because I kind of outlined some of the important guidelines on this. I want the papers to be specific and focused. Do not write a paper that like summarizes all of the major themes of the Columbian Exchange. If you write a paper on the Columbian Exchange, select one critical component of it and make a specific argument, historical argument about that aspect of it. I also want students to use 3 academic sources in writing these papers. Your textbook can be one of the sources. I need to see those sources being cited throughout the paper. I need to see them being cited with footnotes. And I want you to use the best attempt you can to use Chicago style footnotes. The prompt has a link, just control click, and it'll take you to a, um, a free and brief guide to footnotes with Chicago style. That's the style of notation that historians use, and basically you will click on reference at the top of the Word, in Microsoft Word, and then you'll click insert footnote, and then you just write the citation in there. And for Chicago style, you're basically talking about author, first name, last name in a footnote, the title of the book. If it's a book, it's always in italics. If it's like a journal article, in parentheses, and then the publisher information in parentheses. So author, title, publisher information, page number. And then at the end, if it's accessed on the web, which I think it's going to be for most everyone, um, given that we're in an online class, many of you are going to use online access, you'll put the URL address at the end of the citation. And then at the end of the paper, just a bibliographical list of the sources that you used in the paper. So concise introduction that explains what the paper is about, what you intend to argue in the paper, evidence that then supports that argument in a couple of body paragraphs, and then a conclusion paragraph that sort of sums it all up. Use our library database. Our library database is online. Sign in with your student account information and access the many ebooks and journals and so forth that are available to us online through our library. And of course, there are other types of options for finding sources on the web as well. This week, we're going to look at the Revolutionary Age, a really critical moment in history, a turning point in world history, really. The Revolutionary Age is a period that runs from the latter period of the 18th century, the 1700s, into the 19th century, the 1800s. And it's most associated with events like the American Revolution, the French Revolution, as well as revolutions in places like Haiti and in Venezuela and in Mexico and so forth. And these revolutions were incredibly significant to such an extent that historians usually regard the French Revolution, for example, and along with it, the American Revolution, these dual revolutions in the late 1700s, as the emergence of the modern world, as a turning point that really signifies the emergence of the modern world. And we'll be talking about that in the discussion forum this week. Our readings this week, we're coming from chapter 19, 22, and 23 22 and 23 particularly relate to the revolutions and their influence, and chapter 19 relates to the Atlantic system of trade in the lead up to those revolutions, and particularly the slave system during this time period. So we'll also be thinking about the African diaspora as part of this sort of transformation of the world and emergence of the modern world. So paper one, see that prompt. Let me know if you have any questions. Chapter 19, 22, 23 is what we're reading this week. This week we have about a 7-minute bonus factoid video, which is just below. So that bonus factoid video, I want you to watch that and send me a summary. Summarize the video as best you can, and it's worth 2 bonus points this week. So a little bit more than just the normal one. This is another video from a historical site. I think you're really going to enjoy it, and it very much is in conversation of our topic this week. So watch that video below. Get your 2 bonus points added to a test score at the end of the term. Let's have a great week. I will see everyone in the discussion forum.